All right, the first thing I want to bring up is that the so-called movement for the poor, the proletarian, the peasants, the homeless, etc., that communism and socialism is supposed to be, is actually a white racist movement. Think about when it came about. Think about how, until the late 1800s, the slaves weren't really free, and there was still segregation, okay? And if that's not bad enough, Marx referred to the people he didn't like as superstitious Jews, the political opposition. He referred to the people he really didn't like as Jews with Negro blood, okay? Although they weren't black. It's kind of like a white person calling another white person a derogatory name for a black person, Anyway, so let's look at the timeline, shall we? Weishaupt was born in Ingolstadt, Germany, 1748. This is very much a Germanic, Khazarian styles conspiracy. And you'll see that in a moment. It'll become painfully obvious. So Weishaupt was born in February 6, 1748, Ingolstadt, Germany. Hegel was born in Stuttgart, Germany in 1770. Psychiatry was coined by Johann Christian Rehl in 1808, and he was a German. It gets worse. Just stay tuned. Yeah, I assure you, it gets worse. Okay? So, Marx, the famous father of communism, him and Engels. Okay, both Marx and Engels were born in Germany. Marx was born May 5th, 1818 in Trier, Gera, Germany. So Marx was born 12 years before Weishaupt died and 10 years after psychiatry was coined by a German. Remember, this guy is a racist. This guy is Jewish by blood, supposedly, Khazarian Jew, what have you, not by faith. And this is key. And of all the Jews he hates the most, he hates black Jews. And this goes along exactly with what a lot of these Hebrew Israelites are saying. There's a lot of truth to what Hebrew Israelites are saying, that the blacks are the real Jews. And we'll get into that later. Okay? So, in 1871, you have the letters about 3 world wars written by Pike. Now, I don't know what Pike's ethnicity is, but I'm sure he's probably mixed with some German. He's a white person. Odds are, he's mixed with some German, because there's so many Germans in America, so many people of German descent. Okay, so in 1914 to 1918, World War I. 1939 to 1945, World War II. It's important to note, I didn't put this there, but the Berlin Wall doesn't come down till, I believe, 1989. I was born in the early 80s. That puts things into perspective. So in 1919, Mussolini founded the Fasci Italiana di Combattimento, which in 1922, blah, blah, blah. 1921 did something else, okay? So 1919, Mussolini founded this fascist party. Before that, those fascist groups, there were guilds or syndicates. So all these movements sprung from secret societies, guilds, syndicates, things of this nature. Okay? Key. All these movements that we have today, these political movements, major fascist movements under the guise of, the Democratic Party and other, some of them are Republicans and so on. Communism and socialism under the guise of the Democratic Party, because these things have components or aspects of all these things. What they're doing has aspects of communism. What they're doing has aspects of fascism. And the reason why goes back to Hegel, who was born in 1770, 6 years before the formation of the Illuminati. Okay? This is key. This is key. But Hegel, obviously at 6 years old, didn't write anything to influence the Illuminati. Later on, the plan would incorporate some of what Hegel was saying. Okay, the plan eventually was hatched. And as it was hatched, you had Marx and Hegel bringing in the plan by doing things a certain way. Just like Pike predicted the world wars ahead of time, Weishaupt laid down the blueprint for how they were going to take over the world ahead of time before communism is introduced in Germany, I might add. Now, Germany had everything to do with the starting of World War I. We talk about the Austria-Hungary and, Germany's relation to it. I mean, it's almost inseparable. Motherfuckers even called Kaiser Wilhelm, and so on and so forth. And then you look at World War II. I don't think I have to explain how Germany is key in the, World War II breaking out. The conspiracy is an occult, secret society, Khazarian Germanic conspiracy that incorporates elements of fascism, socialism / communism, and the Hegelian dialect, not to mention occult Masonic themes. Remember, Hitler wept when he bombed the UK, London, right? He wept because he said they're the same people as me and we shouldn't be doing this. Okay? Now that I've gotten that all into perspective, I would like you to think about this. I'm a man in his mid-30s who lives with his parents because I've been disenfranchised, as many people have. There's nothing wrong with that. What separates a child from a man is principles, not finance. I'm sure you all would agree if you just took a moment to think about that. Okay, so something else I put in the comments. It has to do with what I'm talking about. It has to do with philosophies. Their philosophies are selfishness, materialism, evil, lies, spreading lies, propaganda, falsehoods, cowardice, and so on and so forth. Okay? Trying to get everyone to conform to the so they don't look so horrible while they do it. Okay, so the truly childish traits that the spiritual bottom feeders have in common. This goes back to philosophies. These are the philosophies that spawned and that feed into and that allow for their plan to work. And they'll spawn their plan, obviously. So, number 1, selfishness. Number 2, shallowness. 3, materialism. 4, conformity. 5, cowardice. 6, evilness. 7, lies. I'll explain. Why did I call these childish traits? They are truly the children, not the people who are disenfranchised, who cannot support themselves or a family. The main things that separates a little kid from an adult are principles. The main things, okay? The little child typically is selfish / shallow and has not developed a deep spirituality or a truly deep belief in God. I'm sure you can all understand that because he's a child. He might be introduced to the Bible, but typically, and not always, but almost always, he hasn't developed these things yet. Therefore, it is a childish trait. You follow me? All right. The child typically wants his favorite toy, wants the cool new bike every kid has, or the new video game, etc. The child typically cannot stand on his own against the crowd. I don't think I have to explain any of those things and the parallels, and their counterparts, their adult counterparts. I don't think I have to explain that one. Hopefully not. If you really want me to, I'll explain in the comments. Some of the main things that determine what the child does right or wrong are the consequences of their actions. Okay? The child has not developed the moral depth to do the right thing, so the child is naturally inclined to be evil. I don't think I have to explain that. A child is like an uneducated thing that's just emotional, and when you're emotional and you're not, you don't live by a moral code. When you're emotional, like a feminist, for instance, and you say fuck your morals, you don't live by a moral code, you're inclined to do evil because you have no moral boundaries, no moral compass. Anyway. What was I? Okay. Thus, it takes raising children to make them turn toward good. And that's why they want to break down the family, to keep you from raising your child, to make them turn, keep you from making them turn toward good or guiding them toward good. Finally, the spiritual bottom feeders who disenfranchise everyone cannot honestly say that adult males who cannot take care of a family or even themselves are not men. They are just victims of the lowly, pussy ass, bitch ass, punk ass, cowardly, sniveling, diabolical, rapacious, perfidious, repugnant, repulsive, lowly heathen scum that have ruined the world. The child feels the need to lie, especially for the purpose of increased status amongst his peers. Now, if you truly think about it, this video I've just made right now by itself is enough for the government and the secret societies to gang stalk me. Those of you who do not understand that could not possibly be among the top 99% of society. And there's a reason why I sliced it like that. Anyway, this is for you.
You can't imagine how much money they've spent trying to silence good people who have put their lives on the line to fight for change.
All right, with all that being said, now I'm going to address the idea that I'm some kind of racist guy or a black guy with an inferiority complex or any stupidity like that. First of all, as I've pointed out many times, I'm the son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon, one a National Merit Scholar. Both my brothers and myself have degrees. There's no inferiority complex. I'm the top martial artist in America. How could I possibly feel inferior to anyone? Secondly, perhaps more importantly, my tribe is rumored to be related to 3 Jewish tribes. Gad, I believe it was, Naphtali, and Judah. Okay? And I'll put that in the comments. I am also half white, half black. I do martial arts, though I do Manchu style martial arts in my own style. I also practice Asian martial arts, different Asian martial arts every single day. I have advocated that Tai Chi is a superior form of healing than pretty much every psychiatric medication, if not all psychiatric medications. Okay? Also, I have probably, the race I have probably dated the most in my life is Hispanic. And I don't feel like I shouldn't need to explain that, but I'll cover this briefly. Okay? I live in California. The people who, you know, in the place where there's not too many blacks, but there's Hispanics and whites, and the people who tend to see things a little bit more like I see them tend to be Hispanics rather than white people. So this idea that I'm racist when you consider all that is absolutely preposterous. Thank you.